Freedom Fighters, I'm coming back at you with another Manic Monday rant. Coming at you early this morning after I stayed up late last night and watched the Super Bowl. I know. Um, I did tune in to the Turning Point USA American halftime show and checked that out. Instead of the halftime show that was allotted by the NFL, which nobody understood. And we'll probably talk about all the anti American undertones that were at the event. Um, they have the Black National Anthem they were singing, the pregame show spotlighted Green Day, which is um, Antifa communist that hates America and a lot of that stuff. But I saw this post from Jimmy Talks this morning that basically said, like, you can still be awake and just let people enjoy their time with their families, and they order a pizza and crack open some beers, and which I didn't do that. I don't barely even drink anymore and all that. But you know good time with family, and gathered up, ate some food, and you know, at the end of the day, I said it. It's one of my crutches. I like sports and stuff like that, which is also the Olympics are going on, and I love the Winter Olympics. They're probably more favorited by me than the regular Summer Olympics. I love the winter sports, the skiing, the snowboarding, um, hockey for sure. Even like the little curling is actually pretty interesting. People would probably think that's hella boring, but you know, anyway, watching the normie events, and I know the Olympics had another satanic opening, and but I kind of wanted to talk about that. Like every once in a while, you have these conversations that just blow your mind. Um, you can't even fathom how stupid someone can be, or not necessarily stupid, but uninformed or brainwashed. And I did a video about that called the smartest idiot I know, or something like that, which basically referred to people will be hella smart, and they went to a prestigious school, or you know got college degrees up the wazoo, but they're the actual ones falling or conforming to societal norms, um or are completely under the spell of mainstream news and all that stuff. And um the normies, man, they just don't get it. And I've had a lot of conversations lately, both online and personal, that have just blown my mind. And recently with this latest batch of e-files coming out, which was surprising as well. I saw Jack Daughtry from the previous Twitter owner or CEO was sitting with Jay-Z and a crowd of celebrities, and he was rocking an Epstein shirt. So and a lot of people around him were on that list. So, and Jack has posted some actually pretty base things in the past. So I think he might be a little undercover. He acts like a little hippie, or, a little California boy, and like he acts woke, but I think he knows more than he leads on to. But with his new batch of e-files dropped, and uh, people you talk to people about this, and you immediately find out who they are. Like, you're like, hey man, did you see that latest batch of e-files? Oh yeah, the Democrats, and they're all going down, and the Democrats are implicated, and they'll never outlive this. And then you talk to someone else, and they're like, you know the Republicans are screwed, and Donald J. Trump, and he's on the list, and this and that. And you see people separate, and you could tell right away what side of the aisle they're on, or who they're supporting. And it's all of them, right? Another video I did, they're all criminals. You're dealing with a criminal cabal. And these normies are like, "Oh, I'm so surprised how bad it was. How evil these people are." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, did you not know? Are you now just figuring out that you're run by satanic demons? That you're a slave to the New World Order and you pay taxes to demonic pedos and criminal warlords? Like, you just came to this conclusion? I mean, I guess better late than never, right? And I mean, that's the point of these videos, and a lot of the stuff I do is just try to wake people up to the levels that we're in. And oh yeah, I got this Sarah Stock thing here that I wanted to talk about, and once again, who called it? I did a video on the e-girls and the grifters and the thoughts, but um, the people who do what she does, right? Posting on the internet of, oh, I'm so pure and I'm the the trad girl and I'm gonna be a trad wife and um, this and that and right. What do they always say? The people who scream the loudest are the most guilty. And when you're saying this stuff, and when you're doing it, doing it for the gram and doing it for the talk, and you're online and all this, especially as a young woman, like you're not a trad wife, and that should be expected by everybody. And when you do stuff online like that, and you're trying to prove to someone, it's clear that you're not. And you know who the real trad wives are? You know who the real trad wife is? You don't know them, right? Because the real trad wife isn't online. They don't have an online presence. They're at home right now taking care of the children, homeschooling, and, you know, doing motherly duties and getting breakfast done and like I said, going throughout the day and getting ready to teach the kids and all that. And you won't hear about them. They go about and they do their duty in silence. And just like what I was saying, like, you know when you're doing stuff for the internet or something, like if you're posting that, you know oh, I donated to my church yesterday and I went to church and did this, or I volunteered at my local soup kitchen and fed the homeless, and every day you're posting your deeds to try to prove to someone else. That's who you're doing it for, right? You're doing it for other people, not for yourself or the necessary like good. You don't actually believe in it. You're doing it to flex, and that's not real. And I've talked recently about how I'm on my health journey and weight loss journey, and I've thought before about posting videos, working out, and I might, later. It's cold as hell out here right now, and when it warms up, I want to do some. Um, I've got some trails that I'm planning out to hike. Do some bigger trails this year, a couple mile hikes and stuff like that. Still nothing super crazy, but you know, maybe 8, 10 miles, something like that. And but then I was really thinking about it and I'm just like, really I can just do it, right? I don't need to post this stuff. Same thing with when I first made this channel, I kind of was going to go in the direction of like gun tuber and stuff like that. And I actually made a really cool video one time, and I had the drone footage over top of us while we were training, and I had all these cool angles of me shooting and everything, and I edited up, and I was gonna put it on, and then I was like, before I hit, download and post it, I'm like, there's no going back from this. And then I also thought about like, you know, uh, uh, I don't want, what I have out there, tied to the internet, tied to me, showing all this stuff. And then I'm like, who am I really doing it for, right? And at the end of the day, like I've always said, I mean, I'm not nothing special, and just a guy with a passion for freedom and his First and Second Amendment rights. So, um, and then plus, I don't have the budget of these larger channels who can have a new firearm every other week and have new content and videos. So anyway, I'm more related to, like, I just want to cover, the news and politics and things that are going on. Which, by the way, if you're new here and you're still listening, like, share, subscribe, do all the things. We're almost at 1,000 subs. Help me get over that hump. But yeah, I mean, if the normies didn't realize, anyway, yeah, that's kind of what I was gonna talk about with Sarah Stock. So if you don't know what happened, she was the internet trad wife that everyone was um, swooning over, and she ended up having sexcapades with her boss, and she was probably that's the only one that got caught. I mean, she was probably sleeping around all over. Meanwhile, she was telling her husband to be that she was a trad wife and she's not like the other girls. Tee hee. And all this, and then she got the Pope to, like, bless and officiate her wedding. Meanwhile, she's acting all pure and everything, and she's going out there and living the life of sin, which they all are. Which, by the way, her boss Elijah Schaefer, another one that I listen to from time to time, and I liked his point of view most of the time, and he's out there doing the same thing, and he's reported to be, a drug addict and doing all this stuff. And it's like, really, like, who is the right man? And it's one of those things when I look at these things time after time, I'm like, like, am I the only one? Like, the only one who's, like, actually trying to live the sober life and, follow Jesus and, um just, like, live a wholesome life and stuff. And it's like, the more and more the people on the right, it's just a grift, man. It's just an act, and you have all these people who turn out to be homos behind the scenes, or they're adulterers and they're cheating on their wives, or they're cheating on their husbands, and they're doing drugs. And um I think in that former e-girl video I did, I talked about Emily Saves America and how she put out that video of how all the MAGA, guys are upset, and she's living her best life in LA, doing drugs and partying and all this. And it's like, this has become the right wing is just infected as the left with these degenerates, and the normies are following it and eating it up. And we talked about Clavicular the other day, who supposedly got arrested and now he's facing multiple felonies and all this stuff. And it's like, dude's running around doing drugs. He's always doped out and everything. And it's like, these are the heroes for the right. It's just ridiculous, man. And yeah, so I mean, I wanted to talk about these normie conversations I had. And I had a couple friends I was talking with, um and eventually, like I said, my conversations usually go to politics, and we were talking about guns and stuff like that. And when you realize just, like, how the average man has no clue, like, the people our age, or not even our age, I mean, we would be, like, elderly at this point, but back in the day, 15-year-old, 16-year-old boys were men, right? They were charging the line in the Civil War. They were going to war. They understood the country's politics and, like, what was going on. They knew how to clean their rifle and their musket and all this. And you talk to 20-year-old, 30-year-old men about firearms and their rights, and they have no clue. And you bring up guns or something, and they just, oh, yeah, yeah, Glock this and Glock that. And I'm like, this is all you know because of, like, movies and, like, normie conversations. I'm like, I could tell he knew nothing about firearms. And there was this meme a while back I saw of a BCG, and it says, if your man doesn't know what car part this is, then he's not really a man. And it's like, it's a gotcha meme where people are trying to figure out what part of the car does that go on. But anyone who knows anything, and every young man should have range time on an AR-15 and know how to disassemble it and know what the parts look like. And you should automatically know, like, oh, that's a bolt carrier group. But most people don't. And there's also another one of a camera setup to look like an AR-15. And this one actually got James Woods. I saw him post it one time. And he's like, I have a right, to own this. And it's a camera, right? But, you know, most of the normies fall for this stuff. And, I was talking to another friend, and he was talking about something about tannerite and how he was going to use it or something to uh, make some kind of booby trap or something like that. And I'm like, Tannerite doesn't work like that. Like, you can't set it off by, someone opening a door. Like, you can't use it as a kickstop or something, and the door's gonna slam it into the wall, or something like that, or um like a mine, like a step plate or something, or you can't put a a charge to it or something like that. It's like tannerite is activated by impact, right? And high speed impact, aka it needs to be hit by a bullet. I forget the exact impact point, but I'm pretty sure it's like um 1,500 or 2,000 feet per second or something like that, because I've had it go off with a 22 before, but I've also had it not go off with 22s. So um yeah, and you could just tell the people who are clueless, and you can tell, who the normies are that just have no understanding of where we're at and the warfare that we're headed to, and where we're at in this countries. But um and then I had people, saying something. You post something vague, and people, you can, just like the Epstein thing, you see people jump to their corners. Team Republican, Team Democrat. I posted something the other day that was like, um and I don't really want to get too deep into that conversation, because this was actually you know among friends and stuff like that, and I'm sure this conversation could be looked up, and I don't even want to bring all that up. But um I posted something vague about, like, oh, this happened, and this teacher that I haven't talked to in like 20 years, who was just like still on my Facebook, um, came in and was like, oh no, this isn't like that, and you're a libtard and all this stuff, just because I attacked something. He thought I was talking about Donald Trump, and it had nothing to do with that. And I'm like, dude, like, that's freaking crazy. And I actually posted something on YouTube too. I don't know if you saw that YouTube post, where I was watching a video, and I talked about Yoel and Marie before, and they went to a military base for the first time. And at one point in the video, she goes, it's an honor to, visit this military, because they protect the citizens' rights, or God-given rights. And I wrote in the comments, no, they don't protect our God-given rights. And everyone immediately jumped to, well, you don't have the right to attack ICE, and not peacefully protest, and violate federal police and all that stuff. And it's like, I wasn't talking about that, but they immediately went into that mode, because that's the current thing, right? And the right is becoming just like the left. You know that meme that Elon posted, um where they have like the mask on and all the shots in the arm, and the BLM, and the Antifa patch pin and all that, and it's like, I support the current thing. That's literally what the right is. And when you just say, no, they're not protecting our rights, the military's not protecting our rights, or the police are not on your side, they immediately jump to, what are you, some kind of libtard? You um, they protect our rights, and God bless the military, and we love our police, and we back the blue, and they can never see beyond their hand right in front of their face of, what's coming. And, they're like, oh, Donald Trump is your president, you have TDS or whatnot. And Dan Bongino is back and doing the same old bullshit, right? And ever since he left, he's like, oh, this is, you know, January 20th, and Donald Trump's your president, and it's February 5th, and Donald Trump's your president, it's February 6th, Donald Trump is still your president. And this is just that, brain dead slop. And he's back. He's got the top podcast, and again, there's no surprise. There's enough normies out there, and Zogbots, chugging down the goy slop, slurping up the goy juice, and boomers are just still soaking in the Q-tard hopium, and talking about the Super Bowl and how they did the Turning Point USA thing, and whether or not that turns out to be a great success or not, I don't know. I didn't see the official numbers of the Super Bowl, how many watched the Bad Bunny show versus. I saw the YouTube feed at like 4.5, maybe 4.7 million at a couple times. I actually originally went to watch it on Rumble, and it crashed. So I went to the YouTube, and I saw it on X, and I had it posted. I sent it to all my friends, and I know at least 4 people who had it up on their phones with me, that were there with me. So again, how many people really watched it? Because I had 4 people, like I said, with us alone on TV and on our phones, and then I sent it to a bunch of friends. And if everybody else did that same thing, um maybe 1 million, 2 million people were actually watching. I mean, who knows? And it's this thing about, I did a video previously about woke ain't dead. And everyone thinks when a Republican gets in office, like, oh, wokeness is dead. And, no, they continue it all, right? Green Day headed the event. They had a black national anthem. They brought in a singer who doesn't even speak English, and they're rubbing it in your face. I told you they're removing statues in the Capitol, and um, putting some girl, I don't even know who it is, but it's some, like, another woke civil rights leader bullshit something. Um, and it just continues, man. But again, the normies don't see it. They don't understand that, you know, it's a globalist cabal, what I always say. And they know nothing. They know nothing, that they willfully pay taxes and bow down to satanic PDF files, sacrificing and eating babies. And they want you dead, and they're going to kill you and your family, and then replace you with the next batch of slaves. That's it, man. Like, they are at pure war with you, and people don't understand. And then you have this Congressman Wu that came out the other day and was like, when Latinos and blacks come together, and Asians and all the minorities finally realize, we all have the same oppressor, and we come together and we're gonna win. He's talking about the white genocide. He's talking about the Great Replacement, and talking about taking over the country. This is a person in office. This is an elected leader. And again, where are their arrests? Where's Donald Trump? Where's the DOJ swooping into this guy's office and saying, no, you're calling for violence. You're calling, for exterminating the American people and overthrow the government. But it'll never happen. So, are you surprised? Right? It's over. It's over. and Trump will accomplish nothing. There will be no arrests. And did you see Trump did an interview a couple days ago, and they're talking about the Epstein files and people attacking Bill Clinton, and he's like, I don't like people going after Bill. Bill Clinton, we love Bill, and he understood me, uh, and I had a great call with Tim, and Tim Waltz, and Mayor Fry. It's like French fries, we love fries. And I got on my knees and proceeded to suck their penis, and they finished very quickly. It was very quick. And I said, I'm pulling out of Minnesota, and we had a great conversation. And, and it's like, this is all we're going to get. And they're getting ready to hand the country back over to the left. And you think woke is dead? You have no clue. They're doing all this while Trump's in president, right? And we have the House and Senate. When these people take over, which I've been talking about Virginia. You want to see what Democrats look like when they take over and they have the full authority to pass whatever they want. They'll go full communist. They're gonna, like I said, it is the California method. It's going after the gas, the lawnmowers, the leaf blowers. Of course they take the guns. They can't have revolutionaries. They can't have a rebellion within the movement. They take the guns. They bring in more illegals to, further outvote you and use as their shock troops to come and kill you. Um, and nothing's going to be done about it. You are on your own, and you need to prepare yourself for this war that is coming. And Trump, he's too busy worrying about stupid bullshit to care, to be caring about saving the country. Yeah, and in another interview, he was, gloating about the White House ballroom the other day, and uh, he's rebuilding the center in D.C. or whatever, the Kennedy Center, and it's gonna be Trump Center, and a new airport. I think he's building a new airport, so it's Trump Airport, and um, he's got this new medicine thing, Trump RX, and he just wants his name everywhere, right? He's trying to settle his legacy. He wants Trump all over, right? Trump, just like his buildings, right? Trump Tower, Trump Airport, Trump, theater, Trump this. Meanwhile, you're going to be killed or in prison. Your children are going to be hunted down and enslaved. They will be stripped of everything, right? They're sure as hell ain't going to have guns. Um, there's a conversation in Virginia about whether or not they're going to do a grandfather law. And I've talked about Washington State before, how they stripped the grandfather, or they allowed you to grandfather. You can have it if you own it, but you can't pass it on to your children or anything like that. So that's it. Your children aren't going to have the guns you have. They're not going to have the freedom you have. And they're going to be living like Europe, where they get knocks on the door over memes. Hell, they're already knocking on doors over memes. You're not going to be able to say what you want. And they're going to be coming after you, and you better have the same firearms that your government has to be able to counteract and fight back against these people. But, it sounds like they have us, right where they want us, right? And will we rise to the occasion? I mean, God, I hope so, right? Lord, I pray to you now, if there ever was a good time to part the sky with your staff, ride in on your chariot and take your rightful throne, and cleanse and heal this world. That's what we need now more than ever. Because what's coming is it ain't gonna be good. And that's what I've, always said and told you to get prepared for and get ready, and trying to wake people up to understand that, but the normies don't know. Um, so I'm gonna leave it there, man. We're coming on half an hour here, 30 minutes of a manic Monday rant. Let me know what you guys thought. Till the next one, you know what it is, man. We are on our own. Nobody's coming to save us. Only God can save us. So get right with God. Freedom Fighters out.